I'm Stewart Smith, and I guess I'm an educator by trade. I started off teaching elementary school, and currently I'm working at the community idea stations as an education specialist, working in classrooms, helping teachers integrate video and educational technology. I grew up in a Christian home, and every week we attended church. We attended West Hampton Baptist here in Richmond, and it was never really an option to be there. It was just something we always did. And throughout high school, I was always a part of the youth group, very active, very involved. And then when I went to the University of Richmond, started to, as most college students do, experience different parts of life and start to question really who I was and what I was about, and really think in terms of what my identity was. And one of the things that consistently came up is the faith that my parents have instilled in me, is it my faith or is it their faith? Is it something that I really believe, or is it something that I've just kind of always just agreed with but never really processed through? And so what I did is at a certain point, because church wasn't really a huge part of my life at that point, only sporadically when I was home with my folks or what have you, I started to go back to the Bible and just see what it was about and see if it was something I really believed I could get a hold of. The more I read to the Bible, the more I got to it, I realized some things about what we were finding there. One, Jesus liked real people. He didn't go and hang out with the people that seemed to have it all together. He went and hung out with the people that were messed up, that didn't really have everything collectively together, and in fact some that society would say weren't worthy of his time. But that's who he gravitated towards. The second part is the fact that relationships are a huge part of what we're supposed to be about. We were called not only to love God but to love others, and that was very important to Jesus and what he told us we're supposed to do. The last thing that I realized through looking at some of the letters that Paul wrote is that struggle is always going to be a part of life. It's not going to be that you get to a certain point and everything's just fixed. Paul talks about the thorn consistently being in his side. And so I think that the thing about it is, and the thing that I learned is that that's okay. I'm going to always be imperfect, and that's never going to change. But the one thing that I can do is work to build relationships, positive relationships, and to consistently look for ways that I can act my faith in, not just within the community of faith that I choose to participate with, but outside that community. And I think that in some ways is even more important.
Thanks, sir. Hey, you're welcome.
On Wednesday nights, we have an opportunity to get together and have coffee and some sweets, and we call it Connection Cafe. And it really is an opportunity for folks that aren't necessarily plugged into any specific activity or on their way to an activity, just to come in and have a cup of coffee and just sit down and have an opportunity to have a conversation with some folks. I've been involved with it now for the last number of years, and I help to kind of support the coffee and making sure that things get there, to try to enable an opportunity for people to have conversations outside of a formal Bible study or a formal church service.
You on this poster because it's somebody that I know and it's killing me. But I don't know.
To me, church is much more than just four walls. It's a group of people getting together to explore their faith and to really think in terms of how they might not only learn more, but also to go out and enact what they're doing, and then getting back together to reflect and to support and to provide any insight. What I've realized is that God loves me for who I am, regardless of the imperfection, regardless of how many times I mess up, regardless of how many times I'm not sure, or I doubt, or my faith wavers. That's all part of the process, and it's all part of being me.